felt bad about that. He cried and everything. But in the meantime, one of the things that Jesus told the disciples was that after my death, I'm going to be raised from the dead, and meet me in the Galilee. Come to the mountain of Galilee, meet me up there. So Jesus established a meeting. That's confidence, right? He established a meeting with the disciples after his death and resurrection. And so the disciples, and they ran, but they basically finally made their way up to there, and so they were there. And remember, they said there was an incident there. Peter himself also went. And I don't know totally what his motive was, except for the fact that some of them thought, well, we'll just go back to fishing. Jesus is not here. But there was still this thought, well, he did say. So they're there. Remember, they're out on that boat. It's recorded in John chapter 20. They're out on that boat and they're fishing, and they fished all night, didn't catch anything. And then the Lord speaks to them from the shore, casts it on the other side. And they got so many fish that was sinking the boat. Do you remember how many fish? The Bible tells us. Why? I don't know. Back in Sidecar, all these people get saved. They don't tell us how many got saved. I mean, if you're a good four-star pastor, you're writing that down, aren't you? 6 people got saved this week or whatever, right? And we don't even know, but the number's there about how many fish they caught. So, remember what it is? Do we know what it is? It's 154, right? 154. So I don't know why that's recorded, except for the fact someone pointed out, well, they're fishermen. They're going to tell you what their catch was. It was the largest catch. It was this big, right? It was that many. Impressive amount. And so someone then, as the Lord's saying, he invites him, come, have breakfast. And someone said, probably I think it was Apostle John said, it's the Lord. He recognized his voice. It's the Lord. Now who jumped out of the boat to get their head of the boat? Peter, right? Peter. Why? Well, here's what I think. And Peter's one of the guys I want to talk to in heaven. I want to ask him about this experience. Peter, I have a theory as to why you jumped out of the boat. Because here's what I think. When it was recognized that it was the Lord, I think he wanted to get there ahead of anybody else and be able to look him right in the eye and know from the look, is it true? Is it true? Can I really return? Can I really return to you? And of course, it was true. Now, if I'm Peter, if you're Peter, what would you think? I mean, maybe you didn't even want to be around the disciples, right? Embarrassed, ashamed. We all ran, but on the way out, I denied, which is, that's a little bit worse than just running. I denied him first, that I even knew him, not once, but 3 times. So he could be ashamed. I mean, also he might think that, well, they won't accept me. They won't accept me. Back to the role that I had, because obviously Peter had a leading role. He was cautioned by the Lord, don't think you're the greatest like in the world, be a servant, and you stood with me, and I appreciate that. But you can return, and so, but did he think that, wow, maybe I can't, maybe they won't accept me. And whatever all that was, I think he was bold enough to think like, well, maybe Jesus meant it. And he got out of the boat as fast as he could, and he got there. Then if we read John chapter 21, the next chapter, this whole chapter here about the restoration of Peter, and the summons of the Lord, the command of the Lord is, when you return, strengthen the brethren. Don't just hang out there. Don't just be a part of the group in whatever way works out. Strengthen the brethren. You're a part of the strength of this group. And so I think that's also a word for all the disciples. And brother and sister, this morning, I think it's a way that, afternoon, pretty soon will be evening. I'm just going to keep going, right? I got more to say. But seriously, that we look at this and see that we have a role of strengthening one another. We're not in competition. We're not to ignore each other. We're not to act like we're not important. Someone else is not important to us. We are to serve one another and to be in it, not for our own stuff, but for the Lord's. And then also to be a strength to one another. Now, I believe that the Holy Spirit is well able and better than me, better than I am, to speak to you about how you do any one of these things. But I do say to you that we ought to listen to these words of Jesus. These are the last words he said to his disciples before his death and resurrection. He spoke to them afterwards, of course, but I mean, this is the final thing he wanted to know. You're okay, I'm going to the cross, but here, remember these things. And so to be a servant, Lord, how do I work that out? I want to be a servant, I want to serve. How do I really stand with you and just really put ego aside, not be in it for anything else but you, and then how can I be a strength? Brother and sister, I do know this, that one of the ways you can strengthen is just, sometimes it's just a smile. It's just a greeting. It's just a hand on the shoulder. It's a handshake or a hug or whatever you can do culturally. You know what I'm saying? A kind word. Or a prophecy, something God gives us to give somebody else. There's all kinds of ways that this lives out. But I say, let's affirm this morning. I'm just going to ask you to do this. I'm going to just look at Sam and Osborne and this group right here and say, I want to be your servant, and I want to stand with Christ, not in for myself, and I want to be a strength to you. Why don't you just go ahead and say that to a couple people around you, okay? I'm your servant. Go ahead, just do that, everybody. Just around you there. Osborne, no, I'm your servant. And I want to stand with Christ, not myself. Be a strength to you. Sam, I want to be a strength to you, brother.
Oh, hallelujah. Got one next Friday. You're booked already. By faith. Is that not lovely, brother? All right, yeah.
Hey, Sam. Why didn't you mention him in your group photo?